Hello everyone, welcome back to Talking History. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all keeping well. My name's Liz. I am not an historian. I am just someone who is extremely passionate about history, and I love to share all of that passion with you. So last week was the second part of King Henry II, and if you haven't seen that yet, I will leave it linked somewhere for you to go and find and watch. But this week, still on Henry II, this week is Henry's invasion of Ireland. And if that is something you are interested in, then please do stay right there. After the brutal murder of Archbishop Thomas Becket on the 29th of December 1171, Henry travelled to Ireland. But it wasn't so much of a spur of the moment thing. Henry had in fact been itching to get his hands on Ireland for some time. In the 1160s, King Henry was at the height of his powers. He was married to Eleanor of Aquitaine, and together they had several children. Henry had control of England, Normandy, Anjou, Aquitaine, and Brittany, also known as the Angevin Empire. Now, Henry's attentions had turned to England's neighbouring island of Ireland. In 1155, Pope Adrian IV, who was the only ever English pope, had issued a papal bull that was entitled Laudabilitaire, and I really hope I pronounced that right. Now, this document gave Henry the right to invade and rule Ireland to enforce the Roman Church onto Ireland's Gaelic Church. Henry's planned invasion of Ireland was pushed to one side when Henry had a discussion with his mother, Empress Matilda, who had advised Henry against it. Now, Henry at this point was actually listening to his mother. But it wasn't simply running away from the backlash of Becket's murder that sent Henry to Ireland. There was internal tensions in Ireland that had facilitated the Anglo-Norman invasion. During the 12th century, Ireland was made up of a series of kingdoms, different settlements that was of mixed Norse-Scottish populations. Those various kingdoms were often at war with one another, and as a result, please forgive my pronunciation of this, Dermot MacMachada, I really hope that's right, King of Leinster, was exiled in the 1160s. So, because I'm not very good at pronouncing his surname, I'm going to call him Dermot. He went to England and he appealed for Henry's help, and Henry gave a little help, but for Dermot it was enough. Dermot gave his loyalties to Henry, and in return he was allowed to recruit Norman mercenaries. On the 1st of May 1169, Dermot had a small force of Anglo-Normans to reconquer Leinster. Their first military engagement was against the Viking settlement in Wexford. Now, Dermot and his men were quickly confronted with the combined Irish kingdoms under the High King Rudry. I really hope I pronounced that right. Apologies if I haven't. Now, in 1170, Richard de Clare, an Anglo-Norman nobleman who was better known as Strongbow. And yes, that is where the drink gets its name from. So Strongbow had raised a larger army against the Irish, but he had failed to defeat Rudry or Rodry. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Sorry. So enter King Henry II. King Henry arrived in Ireland in 1171 with a large force, mainly to prevent Strongbow from having himself declared King of Ireland. Henry invaded to not only control Strongbow, who was becoming increasingly more powerful, but also to take possession of the territory for himself. King Henry had many Irish and Norman leaders recognising his overlordship. Henry had brought Ireland into line with Roman authority. Now, the new Pope, Alexander III, had written to Henry commending him on his work and confirming his right over the barbarous lands. The Lord Abilitaire had done what it was made for. King Henry II of England was now Ireland's overlord and bringing the Irish Church under Roman authority, and a tax for the papacy to be collected by the English crown. Now, although the Lord Abilitaire, which has no verified copies in existence, had its uses to Henry, but Henry never actually used it to justify his invasion. Pope Alexander III didn't quote it in his letters confirming Henry's rule over Ireland in 1172. There is no copy of the Lord Abilitaire in the archives, and it wasn't used by King John in the 13th century, who had a little black book which compiled of all the crown's precedents, and privileges. Now, the earliest recorded version of the Lord Abilitaire comes from Gerald of Wales, who had wrote in 1188 seeking to justify his own family's involvement in Ireland, as well as to burnish his credentials with Henry. Gerald's accounts give King Henry and the Roman Church everything they had wanted. It had been used as the foundation for English rule over Ireland. Now, there had been accusations that it was in fact a forgery, or at least a fairly heavily edited version of Pope Adrian's original document, as the wording was very different to other papal pronouncements from that period. Either way, the text by Gerald got credibility for at that time, and as time went on, by the 14th century, the Lord Abilitaire was often cited as the document for England to rule Ireland. Now, the main purpose of the Lord Abilitaire may have been to reassert Roman control over Ireland, but its lasting role has been the English king's titled deed to the Kingdom of Ireland. The Lord Abilitaire still remained significant in King Henry VIII's reign. England's break from the Roman Catholic Church in 1534 led to Irish nobles arguing that they no longer owed their allegiance to the English king, whose power over Ireland only depended on papal authority. Now, that will be covered in a future video, quite a while to come yet, because we're not near King Henry VIII's time yet. But as for King Henry II, King Henry II returned to England to find that things may have calmed since the murder of Thomas Becket, but all was not well within the family. And if you want to find out what happens, you better make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos, because it is all about to get, what's the word? What shall I say? Very, very brutal for Henry's side. So make sure you don't miss that video, because it's all to come. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's only a short little video today because I really wanted to cover what Henry did in Ireland. Is every time you see about how, and the Anglo-Norman invasion of Ireland and everything else. Oh, Henry escaped to Ireland during the backlash of Thomas Becket, but you don't quite know why. And there's a few more interesting characters, and it also means that I might be able to lead into Ireland a little bit, as I've covered a little bit of Wales. Well, I haven't done Wales yet. I keep meaning to do Wales, Scotland, but I'd like to cover those in Ireland as well, because they are all fascinating characters and they all deserve to have their story told. So I'm going to stop on rambling. I can't even talk properly now, so it's definitely time for me to go. But please do hit that subscribe button, like and share, and keep being amazing, because you're all bloody wonderful. And thank you so much for watching. Take care. See you soon.